Anne. Anne wants to know, Richard, I love all your concerts, but do you ever plan on singing any music from your new CDs? I see a lot of great songs people would love to hear, better or worse, done to me. Thanks for all the music you've given me over the years. Well, Anne, I play new songs every concert. I never do a concert of only old songs. My philosophy about it is I try to approach my concerts from the standpoint of a fan, because I go to concerts a lot, and I love to hear people do new material a little bit, because I'm not really, I mean, even if I go and buy somebody's new CD and I really love it, I still want to hear, I want to hear some of those songs, but I mainly want to hear the songs that I've come to know and love by that artist. And I think especially somebody like myself who has luckily a pretty long list of singles, and even a couple of songs that weren't singles but they were well known, like Have Mercy. I think, even though I don't do Have Mercy ever, but I did it in concert a lot, and I think you just have to. For me, the recipe is like 20% new songs. It's very important for me to play new songs, because one of the reasons I write new songs is to play them live. And so I think some of the new material holds up better in concert than the older songs do. But I don't get to. I love playing the old songs, so that's always going to dominate my shows. And I'm lucky that I have enough, old material that people know that I think they're coming there to hear. So I'm really, believe it or not, I know it sounds happy, but I'm really trying to think about the audience and what they want. Okay, Nikki. Hey, Nikki. Over the years, I've seen you perform with numerous bands. There's almost always obvious chemistry, and we can tell you're all having a blast. What is one of your best band memories, and who would be in the Richard Marx All-Star Band if you handpicked the musicians? Wow, that's a really good question. My best band memories are all sort of, it's what you would expect. It's those nights when, well, I have, just a couple nights ago, the Toledo show is going to go down as a great memory for me in terms of the band. The band that night was Keo Stroud on drums, Steve Hornbeek on keyboards, Matt Scannell on guitar, and John Howard on bass. And like I said, everybody was kind of on edge, because you can't make a mistake. If we play as a band and somebody makes a mistake or we get lost along the way, it's so easy to fake our way back. We can just sort of riff, or we can just, I'll like motion, it's played 4 more bars if somebody forgets to go to the endings. No big deal. When you're playing with a symphony, they're following a chart. I mean, you can't vary from that. So it makes it just much more of a high-pressure thing. And high pressure usually equals mistakes. And the band was just pretty flawless that night. And I just sent them an email last night, actually, just giving them tons of props, because we were all nervous, and I thought the band was fantastic. So my great band memories are when we're all just in that zone, where we just know that we're like one, and we're just clicking on all cylinders, and that's really exciting. And I love just being in a band when it's working like that. As far as my ultimate band, I don't know. I mean, I probably could put a list together for you, but then that would be slighting some other great musicians that I love to play with. Again, it's almost like the question about the artists. There have only been a couple of band members over my 21 or 22 years playing live that just didn't work out. Most of the time, the bands have changed personnel because they've moved on to other things, or I've just wanted to play with new players. Sometimes I'm all for loyalty and I'm all for that camaraderie, but I think as a musician and as a singer, I need to feel challenged sometimes, which is why I put a whole new band together in '04, because I wanted to surround myself with guys who were going to make me, better, rise to the occasion. And at the end of the day, I'm just a member of the band. I mean, yeah, we're playing my songs and I'm the lead singer, but I want to feel like I've earned my slot in that band. So I don't know if that answers your question, but hopefully it does. Deanna, she wants to know, what would be your favorite childhood memory? My favorite childhood memory? That's really hard because I had a great childhood. But you know, when I think about childhood memories, one memory that really pops up a lot is, you know, a lot of you know I was a huge Elvis freak growing up. I worshipped Elvis Presley. And I was an only child, am an only child. And one of the things that's a drag about being an only child is not having an older sibling to babysit you, which means that whenever your mom has to go to the store, you have to go when you're little because you can't be left home alone, because that would be child neglect and my parents would get arrested and that wouldn't be good for anyone. So I used to have to go to the store or the bank or the cleaners with my mom when she would run errands, and I used to I loved my mom, but I wanted to be home watching Speed Racer. So this one afternoon, I think, I can tell you exactly how old I was. I was 9. And my mom, I was watching TV or something, and my mom came to get me like around dinner time. And she said, "I'm really sorry, but I got to go out and you got to go with me." And I was like, "Oh, Mom." Okay, fine. So I get in the car, not saying much. I'm just sort of like, I'm not being a brat, but I'm like, you know. And my mom kind of drives past the grocery store in our little town of Highland Park, Illinois. And by the time I noticed that she'd passed the store and I like wondered what was going on, she'd gone a few blocks past the store, and there were the old movie house, which is still there actually in Highland Park. The marquee was lit up and it said Elvis on Tour. It was like Christmas. There was this documentary about Elvis Presley, and it was playing in our little town. And the minute I saw it, I started freaking out, Mom, it's an Elvis movie at the theater. And my mom went, "Fancy that." And she parked and took me to see the movie. That was the whole plan. And I thought it was just, I mean, my mom has always done these amazing things for me. She's like the greatest mom ever. But there was something about that just resonates with me to this day. It was the coolest, sweetest thing. So that's way up there on my childhood memory list.